Hi guys. In this chapter we will be discussing about what an array is. I'll be dealing with the concepts regarding the C and C++ programming. Hope it suits for all the programming too. Normally, before considering or before dealing with the definition or the concept of C or the arrays, let us know how or why the concept of C or how the concept of this arrays came. Normally, in previous before the introduction of the arrays, variables can store only one value. That is, variables can store only one value at a time, and it is possible to store a new value only after the erasing the previous one. But in real life situation, while computing, we would like to store more than one value at a time. Now this problem has arisen, and this was able to overcome with the. Now let's deal with what the definition of an array means. That is, yeah, as in terms, it is defined as array is a collection of variables of same data type that are referenced by a common name. This is the basic definition of an array. Now we will see how the declaration of array is made. That is, first, it is mentioned as the data type. This data type denotes either an integer or a float, character, double, long double, or whatever it may be. And once after the size is being, that is the data type is being mentioned, you must provide a space followed by the array name which you want to mention. That is, it can be any name, but it must be following the rules of the naming culture of C programming. And after the name, it is immediately followed with the square brace, which encloses the size of the array. The example here is mentioned is integer, which represents the data type, and the data, which represents the name of the array, and the 10, which represents the size. And the size of the array, if I mentioned here, is being stored as a whole numbers, that is from 0 to n minus 1. That is, in case if you are having a example integer data of 10, then the values will be stored in such a way that a of 0, a of 1, a of 2 until and so on till a of 9, which constitutes of the 10 variables. The second topic is the classification of arrays. What is the classification of array? Some people say it is classification, some says it is types, so I have mentioned this as a classification, or whatever it may be, you take it as your own way. There are mainly three types or the three classifications. One is single dimension, two dimensional, or multi-dimensional array. Two dimensional is almost a multi-dimensional array, but it would be some more simpler in operation. That's why it is being given as a separate type. In a single dimensional array, the example is which I have provided here. That is integer, the data type, followed by the array name and the size, which is enclosed within a square brace. Initially, so in that case, the single dimensional array is also called as a list view, or the list generation. That is, the values will be stored in a sequential manner in a off memory location. That is, suppose the first value of a of 20, that is the initial value of the array starts with the address location 1000. Then how the values will be stored is that a of 0 will be, that is the initial value will be at memory location 1000. Since it is an integer type, we'll be having 2 bytes for each variable, so a of 1 will be in 1002. That is, this will be occupying 1000 and 1001 memory location, and this will be occupying 1002 and 1003. Likewise, and the subsequent will be following the address of 2 bytes. In case of a float variable or a float array, we'll be having 4 bytes of memory location. That is, it will be considering from 1000 to 1003, 1004 to 1007, likewise. and in case of characters it is a single byte, so the consecutive memory address, that is 1000, and the next address will be 1001, the next address will be 1002, and so on. For the two-dimensional array, the format is that the syntax is same for all the format, that is we will be mentioning the data type followed by a variable name along with the size. But in case of a two-dimensional array, that we will be mentioning two index values, the one for row and another one for column. This size, the row size and the column size, is helpful for calculation, for performing the calculation regarding the matrices. For example, if the in case the in case the two-dimensional array is in such a way that integer mat of 10 which means that 10 cross 10 matrix is to be generated, that is the maximum size of the matrix is 10 cross 10, sorry, 10 cross 10. This denotes the m value, that is the row size, and the next value denotes the column size. The initial position of the array will be in 0 a of 0 comma 0, that is the variable name, that is matrix of 0 comma 0, and matrix of 10 comma 10 will be the last position. Now if you want to calculate the maximum values or the total number of values which could be enclosed within this two-dimensional array, can be performed by multiplying the row size and the column size. If you multiply these two, we will be getting the total number or the total capacity of the two-dimensional variable, or sorry, two-dimensional array. Now we will be dealing with the multi-dimensional array, which is similar to that of the two-dimensional array. The only thing is that it will be having more than two dimensions, that is it will be considering more than two size values. This could be these matrices, or these types of multidimensional arrays are performed in case of data mining process for calculating the multi in some cases of mathematics, and in data mining process for organizing the store location and the other datas for a certain month. We are suppose in such a way that if we are going to calculate the values or the sales for a particular shop in a particular branch in a particular month, then we will be having the multidimensional data. This will be dealing much more under a lots and lots of variables, and lots and lots of details record within it. So to reduce those ambiguity, we will be using with multidimensional array. But most people with the simple starting programmers won't use this. They will be dealing with the single dimensional and multidimensional arrays. But to know that, I have mentioned it here. Next thing is that the third topic is array initialization. What is an array initialization? Initialization is nothing that we are going to assign some values, or we are going to provide some values to the array. For example, for one dimensional array, the variable which I have mentioned here is int a of 3, that is the size of the array a with the integer data type is 3, and the values could be directly mentioned here, that is we could able to provide the curly brace and include the values within it. This is a type of initializing a variable or initializing the values to the array of one dimension. The value will be stored in such a way that a of 0 will be containing the first value, that is 1, a of 1 that the second value will be considering here, that is number 2, a of 3 the value at third position will be stored here. Same in case of the two-dimensional array, but it will be having some more detailed explanation. That is, in case of two-dimensional array, the variable a with the integer data type has the dimensions 2, 3, 2 cross 3. That is 2 rows and 3 columns. And the total number of values would be 2 cross 3, that is 6 values. So I have mentioned 6 values here. Either you can mention in this way, or you can go in this method. In either method the values will be different, but why this is because in this method the values which you have provided is in consecutive order. So we have mentioned 2 rows, so with each row containing 3 columns. So the first three values will be aligned into row 1, that is 1 comma 2 comma 3 would be here, and 4 comma 5 comma 6 would be like this. This is row 1, and this is going to be the row 2. And this would be the column 1, column 2 and column 3. So in either case the method is same, but what we are going to do is that in this method we will be mentioning the values separately. That is, this is going to be the row 1 and this is going to be the row 2. In this, the value 3, if you want to exchange the values, that is, if you want the array to be like this, that is, in row 1 you need the values like this, 1 comma 2 comma 4, and in row 2 you need the values like 3 comma 5 comma 6. Then you need to mention like this, because in this method the consecutive values will be directly altered in while assigning, but in this case we are going to manually or customize the assignment. So you need to provide the values like this, or else in this case if you want to mention, if you need the array like this, which I have mentioned in the second method, then you need to change the values here like this, so that the array value changes like this. This would be the either method would be easy, but some of the, according to the need, the people choose their method. The fourth topic which we are going to deal with is that handling of characters with array. Till now we have dealt only the integers or the numbers in terms of arrays. Now we are going to deal with characters in terms of arrays. The declaration part remains same, that is the data type followed by the array name, which is the parameters, the square brace enclosed with the enclosing size of the array. The example is character, the data type which is going to mention, that is the character array, followed by the array name and the size of the array. There are two types of initialization in this method. One is the first method, array initialization method. First method is that character array name followed by the curly brace, in which we are going to provide as the string as a single individual character. While finishing everything, while the string gets complete, you need to add a null character which denotes the end of string. But in second method you are going to directly provide the string, so you don't need to mention this, but instead you need to provide a double quote for that string. That is a must. And you don't need to mention what's the size here, because it is enough to mention that it is an array. That is, it is enough to mention that it is a character array. You don't need to provide any size, because you can have as many characters as possible in this initialization, but you cannot alter it later. You need to change the values if you need a different variable, if you need a different value for this variable. And the next thing is array of strings. It is same, that is you will be having a string with the multidimensional array or a two-dimensional array. We will be having numbers in terms of matrix, but in this case we will be having strings with a set of strings which would be mentioned later in this part of the video. Now let us consider some example in terms of programming. I'll mention in this video about the first sample video. This is a sample video of how the array would be. I have include the necessary header files, and make sure that you have included the main function, either this is an integer main or a void main. This open curly brace and declare the variables. This is the declaration part of the variable. This is the array variable. Since I have mentioned it in an index, so it the compiler automatically recognizes that it is an integer, it is an array character. This is a normal variable and this is an integer, an array variable. The compiler recognizes it with the help of the square brace which I have mentioned along with the size. What I need to do in this program is that I'm going to get the values from the user and I'm going to print those values. That's all I'm going to do. I have mentioned the size of the variable, that is the size of the array as 10. So I am going to perform the operation till I reach the 10 characters or the 10 numbers. Once I receive the 10 numbers, the computer automatically, that's the compiler automatically compiles it and prints the 10 values. Let's run this program. I have mentioned the 10 values and the 10 values have been printed in this. This is a simple example. Let me show you the different example. That is, in this second example, we'll be having one more variable, that is one more extended functionality of that. We'll be restricting the size of the program. That is, we'll be restricting the size of the array. We are not going to get the entire 10 values. We are having the capacity of containing 10 values, but we are going to request the user for having only mentioning the size or the maximum size of the maximum number to which we are going to enter the values. Once the value has reached the end, the compiler automatically prints those values. Now let's run this program. I'll mention the maximum size to be 4. Once I mention 4 values, the compiler automatically recognizes it and automatically prints the value. This is a simple and basic programs. Only thing we need to know is that in the previous program we would be having the whole 10 value here, but we are going to restrict it with the number of values we have got here. That is going to be the change in this program. Third example is with the two-dimensional arrays. Same is that we are going to have a row value and a column value, so we are going to perform 2 loop operations. In the previous cases, in one-dimensional, we will be having a single loop values for mentioning only the list view for consecutive memory location. In this 2-dimension, we will be having a row value and a column value, so we will be considering 2 loop conditions. I have mentioned the size of row and column to be 2, making it as a square matrix. Now we are going to read the values from the user, and this I value, the first loop conditions which you are going to provide is going to be the row value. The second loop condition which you are going to provide in this matrix operation is going to be the column value. So make sure that you don't mess around with it. If you mess around with it, the values will be printing as different and it will be considered as a different parameters to it, and you won't be getting the required output. Now let's run this program. I'll be mentioning you. I'm going to enter the values continuously, but the program, it will be printing in form of matrix. This is about the program, and the final one is with the string. Include the necessary header files. Make sure that you have entered the string.h header file, which is going to contain the string function string length. Now what we are going to do is that we are going to declare a variable or array variable of character, and we are going to read a string from the user. Once you have read the variables that is the string from the user, we are going to convert it to the uppercase and we are going to print it. What I'm doing here is that I'm going to read the value from the user. I'm going to print it before converting. Once I perform this operation, that is I'm going to find the length of the string with this function. I'm going to perform this loop operation from 0, that is initial value, till the last value, that is the size of the string, so that the entire string gets completed. That here I am going to check whether the individual character in the string is either in a small case. If it is in a small case, I am going to convert this ASCII value from small case to the uppercase. Since the uppercase values are from 68, I suppose, And the smaller case values are from 98, I suppose. I'm not sure, 95, I'm not sure about the ASCII values. But once I have if for the small a, if it is 95, and if you subtract 32, you will be getting the previous value, that is the value of the ASCII value of the character capital A. So let's run this program. If I am going to write Vivek, it is going to complete or convert the string to be in uppercase. That's all till the program, and I have finished with this programming in topic of arrays. If you have any queries, please do let me note it, and please bear with my English once again, and hope I hope you have learned something from me. Thank you. Thank you for watching.